Hello, hi, and welcome to this week's true crime live stream. If you're new here, hi, I'm FEARSONA, you can call me Sona, and I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills. Well, okay, this week, I think this week's case is gonna give you less of chills, more of tears, because I believe that at least one of you, at least some of you guys here, are fans of Kyoto Animation Studio. Some of you might not even know it, but like your favorite anime shows might actually be coming, might actually come from this studio. And today we're going to talk about the most deadly massacre in recent Japanese history. And unfortunately, it happened to Kyoto Animation, one of the most celebrated animation studios in the world. And as this case happened pretty recently, because it happened in 2019, I'm sure many of you have heard about this tragic incident. I can even show you this is a picture post incident. And I'm sure many of you guys have heard about this incident, or maybe some of you even followed this case very, very closely. So in this stream, I'm going to go over the case of the Kyoto Animation Massacre, and I'll be revealing some shocking details of the case, which may surprise you because not many news outlets or content creators talked about some of them. And me and Intan-kun did some very, very deep digging for some of the facts, some of the shocking facts in this case. But before we begin, I just wanted to say hi to everyone in the chat. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my moderators, IDK Bacon, Shy, Kronos, Silverjack, for being here and for modding the stream. And to all of the chatters, please remember to read the rules, the chat rules, and abide by them. I wouldn't want anyone to get bonked. I don't want anyone to get banned, bonked, whatever. So just behave and enjoy the case. And aside from that, I would just like to say hi to my channel members. I see Ducky Noodles, Alberto, Renfield97, Demon Taker. I see quite a few of you guys. DMJ2004, Lance DP. Who else? Jamie is here. Oh yeah, Alberto Anarchia, I did say that. Say hi. Queen MC, hello, welcome. Ketsuya, hi, always a pleasure. Jose, Rune S, hi. Ugo God, hi. And who else is here? Because I... Rake Against, hello. General Butterscotch, oh, hello. Oh, salutations, yeah. I think have I seen you in the chat before? Because I feel like it's been a while. Usually I see you in super chats and I'm just like, oh, hello, hi. You guys, you can absolutely lurk. That's okay. If you want to lurk, you can just stop by in the chat just to say hi, so I can acknowledge that you're here, and then you can go back to lurking. That's completely fine. The John Active, hello, and other. Okay, so non-channel members, but still very welcome viewers. ENG, hi! I caught a stream after a hot minute. Yeah, oh, that's true. How's it been? Well, I'm having a good day I was having a good day except for when I started researching the case and I had to go through this all over again, because I don't know if you know, you might not know this, but I was actually still in Japan. I lived in Japan in 2019, and I was still living in Japan in July 2019 when all of this happened, when this whole case happened. So this was a shock. I was living in Tokyo, so I wasn't anywhere near the site. But my favorite anime is actually from Kyoto Animation Studio. And I think at the time, I'm gonna get to it, but at the time there was a new movie that was supposed to come out. My favorite anime was Violet Evergarden, is still Violet Evergarden. Well, one of my favorites, but I think it's it's my favorite story. But a movie was supposed to come out that year, and then this happened, and a lot of creators who were working on this movie just, unfortunately were murdered. And yeah, they passed away, and the movie was postponed. It was very tragic. I think a lot of people are shocked. So many great animes were made from Toho. Well, this one is KyoAni. animators get treated poorly. And that fire just added to the pain. So it's interesting. I am gonna get to that because Kyoto Animation Studio was different, even when it comes to animators. And this is one of the facts that not many people know, and not many like news outlets like actually covered this. Because yes, in the animation industry, animators and like generally speaking in Japan, they are not treated very well by companies, by animation studios. KyoAni was actually different, and I'm gonna explain why. So first, let's dive into the case. Wait, okay. I'm just gonna say hi to everyone. I see Darkest Monkey, ENG, Jose, Thinvo, hello. And who else? Because I think I missed some people. Darren Root, hi. I heard animators are basically working in shit environments. So that is what is different about KyoAni, and I'm gonna explain. Twilight's Night, hello. And Kevin Nezuko, hi. Who else? Oh, IDK Bacon, hi, hello. They made the anime based off my favorite game Clannad. Yeah, oh yeah, that's one of the signature animes from KyoAni. So this is gonna hit me hard, hit me in the feels again. Milky Pop, hello, welcome. And Curious George, welcome. Undead Rabbit, hi. Hello, Sona. This one I have not heard of. Well, you're gonna hear about it right now. Okay. Let's get right into it. I do have some video footage, and I have a lot of video footage from the fire itself. So just, you know, like if you are not comfortable seeing the fire as it was going on because of the knowledge how many people were there, it is pretty shocking, the footage. So I advise you not to listen to the case, not to watch the video. You can listen, maybe you can listen to the case, but there are gonna be some gruesome details. So if you are very sensitive to that, I advise you against listening to the case. But if not, you know, you can brave through it. Okay, let me get into the case. So first, let me talk about Kyoto Animation, a little bit about Kyoto Animation, the main subject of this case. If you didn't already know, Kyoto Animation, also known as KyoAni, is a famous and critically acclaimed animation studio from Kyoto in Japan. So they've produced several popular anime series and films, which you've probably heard of. You can probably recognize those posters such as Clannad, K-On!, A Silent Voice, Love to Nibyo and Other Delusions, Sound Euphonium, Free, Tsurune, and one of my favorite anime of all time, Violet Evergarden, which I also said before. So here are some other facts about KyoAni, which you may not know. So apart from their good quality anime, KyoAni is also very well known in the anime industry for having very radical and progressive policies in hiring staff. So for one, they generally hire full-time employees and pay them a regular salary, which, you know, like you guys mentioned, like, oh, animators are just treated like shit in this industry. They're usually like hired as freelancers without benefits or anything. So KyoAni was doing it differently. They were hiring people on a full-time contract, right? Full-time employee with all the benefits, regular salary instead of hiring a bunch of freelance contractors and not offering anything. So they were also willing to hire less experienced animators. They actually preferred it. They were hiring less experienced animators, and they made sure, they insisted on training their employees in-house. Not only that, KyoAni is also very well known for hiring a large portion of female employees, some of whom take high-level positions, which is still quite rare in Japan, especially like in this industry. A lot of industries are still quite male-dominated in Japan. So another really cool fact, cool thing about KyoAni is KyoAni is known for for hosting this annual competition called Kyoto Animation Taisho, or Kyoto Animation Awards, where everyone can submit their stories to KyoAni for a chance to win 1 million yen, which is around $7,000 by today's exchange rate. So not only does the winner get this really sizable prize money, the winning story will also be published and could possibly even be produced as an anime. In fact, like, for example, Violet Evergarden was actually the winner of the 2014 Kyoto Animation Awards. And obviously it was eventually produced into an anime series and films, and it was a major success. Everyone loved it. I mean, you know, need I say more? I mean, I will, because I'm gonna go on a little rant, because Violet Evergarden is great. The novel, the story is great. It was a it was a novel that was submitted to the animation awards, and yeah, like, it just turned into an anime. Everyone fucking loved it. They were just like, okay, this cannot end like this, because anime kind of ends in an open way. Like, there's an open ending, and people were just like, please just make a movie. Like, we need movies. We need this story to finish. So they made the movies. And this was actually the movie that was going to come out in like that year when I was still in Japan, and then it was postponed because of the tragedy. So, you know, this is just this awesome thing that they do, KyoAni does, and it shows their commitment to developing talent, like new talent, and producing great stories. However, somewhat ironically, while Kyoto Animation Awards was intended to get KyoAni connected with hidden talent, it was also these exact awards, right? Like this exact event, Kyoto Animation Awards, which got KyoAni connected with a highly disturbed individual, a man by the name Shinji Aoba. So, 42-year-old Shinji Aoba was a longtime fan of Kyoto Animation and one of the many people who submitted work into the competition. And yet, he would also commit the most unspeakable act of violence against the beloved animation studio. So who was this guy? Who was Shinji Aoba? And how could he turn from like a contestant, a huge lifelong fan, you know, of a seemingly positive competition, you know, into this hater? How did it turn out that he got this vendetta, this like desire for revenge against KyoAni? To find out these answers, I researched the background of the suspect, of Shinji Aoba, to understand what may have caused him to commit the crime, you know, like to murder pretty much 36 people in the end. 36 very talented creators from Kyoto Animation. So Shinji Aoba was born and raised in Saitama, a region in Japan that is a little north of Tokyo. Fun fact, I did live in Saitama for, I believe, a year. Because Saitama is very close to Tokyo, and I actually worked in Tokyo, and Saitama was just kind of like outside of the Tokyo metropolitan area. So I lived there for a while, but then I moved to like Tokyo area, to the 23 districts of Tokyo. R.I.P. Sona's mental state. She's risking her mental state for these videos. Dude, like I don't know how I'm gonna get through one of the parts, because this is still about the suspect. So we have to understand, like, how did it get to this? How did he get from like a lifelong fan to this, you know, vengeful person who had a grudge against the animation studio, and he basically wanted to kill them all. So I'm gonna get there, but when I get to the fire itself and what actually transpired, like what actually happened in that building, I don't know, like I'm already thinking about it, and I'm having a hard time to continue. Okay, so back to Aoba Shinji, or Shinji Aoba. So he was born in Saitama. As most of these stories begin, Shinji Aoba unfortunately had a pretty rough childhood. When he was only 9 years old, his parents divorced, so Shinji ended up living with his father, brother, and sister. Shinji's father was a humble truck driver, and it was already difficult for him to raise 3 kids as a single father. But to make things worse, Shinji's father was also diagnosed with diabetes, and his health issues got so bad that he was unable to keep his job. He was fired. Times were really tough for Shinji's family. They lived on welfare for a very, very long time and often struggled to pay rent like anyway. During this time, Shinji's father abused Shinji and his brother. Apparently, the father like forced the brothers to stand outside during winter wearing only underwear, and even like he would even pour water on them and didn't let them sleep. So they were like standing outside, freezing cold. He would like pour water on them. I don't know if this is like, this is not specified if this was like outside. He would pour the water on them when they were standing outside or like inside, and he wouldn't let them sleep. I guess like inside, like when they were trying to sleep, he would just like not let them sleep. I couldn't actually find out like why exactly like Shinji's father was so cruel and why he only targeted his sons and not his daughter, because yeah, all the information is usually about like, oh, how he mistreated his sons, but never the daughter. Like at least there was no information about him mistreating the daughter. But I think it's easy to assume that their stressful life situation may have driven Shinji's father to be this way. It was pretty tough, but not that it excuses the behavior. It is still abuse. It doesn't excuse it, but it might have been the cause, you know, of this. Okay, every child deserves parents, but not every parent deserves children. That is, yeah, that's true. That is true. Some parents just, I don't know, like if he couldn't handle how it was like their financial situation, their life situation, I have no idea. This is still not an excuse, but we're kind of looking for the cause of why for this shift, like why he changed so much. Okay, so despite troubles at home, Shinji actually found solace in other ways. In high school, one of Shinji's senpais or upperclassmen introduced Shinji to video games and anime, specifically anime produced by Kyoto Animation. Shinji was extremely fascinated. He was immediately hooked, and like many of us, he became a huge fan of anime and video games. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys can relate. Like this was magic. Like the first anime you watched, and suddenly this whole like those gates opened, and there was this whole new world that you could discover. Like all those stories. It was amazing. So anime and video games weren't just an escape for Shinji. Like yeah, they were part of it. You know, he had a tough life. He had a rough situation at home. This let him kind of take his mind off of the the shit relationship he had with his father, the hardships of life. It definitely helped him to escape it, but it was more than that. So he actually felt very inspired by Kyoto Animation Productions, and he felt that there was some kind of career opportunity for him. So when Shinji graduated high school in 1998, he decided to attend music school to fulfill his dream to make music for video games specifically. At least that's what the information said. While he attended music school, he also worked a part-time job at a newspaper stand to pay for his tuition. By all accounts, Shinji just seemed to be a serious and hard worker, and despite his difficult childhood, things seemed to be going okay for him. Like things seemed to be looking up for him. Like he had a goal, he had a dream, he was working towards it, he was very serious. He went to the music school because he was just like, okay, this is what I need to... Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I just low-key burped because I've been... Okay, yeah. Ignore. My throat is just weird. Sorry, I'm just gonna drink my matcha. What was your first anime fear? I think my first... Was it my first anime? I think it might have been Shaman King. Nice burp. I know. Excuse you. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Okay. But I think my first anime was, I think, Shaman King, and then it was Naruto, because those were played on TV, like in Poland. Really? I didn't hear it. Oh, like the... Oh, you guys didn't hear the burp? Sorry. I mean, that's good, but I just like literally burped in the microphone. Why not? Yeah, like when I talk a lot and I don't know, it just happens in the most inconvenient moment. Konosuba here. Oh, nice. I think I started my like fascination and journey with animes like when I was in middle school. So quite a hot minute ago, and yeah, like Shaman King was my first anime. I think I'm pretty sure that was my first anime, and I remember, like, I tell this story. I've told this story so many times, like in my streams, but I'm not kidding. Like, it didn't matter. It did not matter where I was. I could have been with my friends across town, but every day there was like there was a new episode of Shaman King at, like, I don't know, 6 p.m. or something, and I'm hanging out with friends, and then it just gets, you know, it's getting closer to 6 p.m. and I'm just like, and I just suddenly extend up, like, okay then, all right. I'll see you guys later. And they're like, what? Where are you going? I'm like, yeah, I'm done with you guys. I need to get home to watch my show. Bye. Or no explanation. I would just stand up and like go. And they'd be like, what the fuck? Why are you leaving? I could have a dentist appointment, be in the middle, like under anesthesia, be like, you know, dentist be fixing my teeth, and I would be like, I'm sorry, but I have to go. And they're like, but I'm not done. It's like, you can finish it later. I have to, like, give me like 30 minutes. I'm just gonna watch my episode and I'm gonna come back. You can hold the spot for me. Boomer anime. What? Well, yeah, like, it was pretty old, but it's, to be fair, like, Poland didn't have like, Poland started playing animes like quite late. So not when they came out. Like, this was probably already after, like, a few years after Shaman King actually came out. I got my priorities straight. Mood indeed. My older sis likes watching AOT. Wait, what is AOT? Okay, I don't know. Actually, wait, what is AOT? I'm confused. I think I might know. Like, when you tell me the full name, I probably will recognize. My first anime was Rosario plus Vampire. Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, Attack on Titan. Oh my god. I guess because, like, oh, AOT. I guess because I'm just used to calling it like Shingeki no Kyojin. That's why. Okay. I was like, Sona, were you living under the rock? Like, what? Do you not recognize Attack on Titan? No, I just know it by the Japanese name for some freaking reason. Like, because my friend was a huge fan, and she would just call it Shingeki no Kyojin. Sona, please. I won't ever forget my intro to anime. Porco Rosso. Was it? Wait, Porco... Oh, Rosso. I don't know that. What rock did you live under? And was Patrick Star... And was Patrick Star there? Yes. We were buddies. We were buddies. Okay, listen. I loved Shaman King. Then I loved Naruto. Then I loved... I think Oh, that was like a huge jump. I jumped from Naruto, so like pretty tame, like I would say like pretty tame, like the first season of Naruto, still pretty tame animes. I kind of like jumped to Elfen Lied, and whoa, holy shit, not all animes are not for kids. That one was not for kids. I was watching it like in middle or high school, and I was just like, what the frick is happening? That was a shocker. That was a huge contrast. But Elfen Lied also highly recommended. Highly recommended. I would say 18 plus. Don't show it to kids because it's pretty yes. That show is definitely not a kid one. Oh, it's not a kid show. It is not. It is a great show. Oh, also, like, Violet Evergarden, I would say, like, is one of my favorites, like, newer anime from the old ones. Yeah, Shaman King was one of my favorites, and Blood Plus. Blood Plus, also not an anime for kids. Just saying, do not show this anime to kids. But that was a great show. It's really awesome. I highly recommend Blood Plus. Okay, let's get back to Shinji and like what happened. So as I said, things were looking up for him. He was attending music school. He was planning to become a music producer for video games. Sadly, this positive part of Shinji's life was very short-lived, because after just 6 months, he decided to quit music school as he felt that there wasn't anything, quote unquote, there wasn't anything to learn. And I'm actually not really sure what this means, what this is supposed to mean. Maybe he felt that music school wasn't what he imagined. Maybe he felt like, oh, we're not doing specifically, like, I'm not doing specifically like work towards the producing music for video games. Like, this is not what I signed up for. But, you know, as I said, maybe it wasn't what he imagined, but anyway, he was obviously frustrated with his studies. Then in 1999, when Shinji was around 21 years old, tragedy struck. His father, who had recently recovered his health and started working as a taxi driver, had been involved in some kind of accident and was subsequently fired from his job. And after being fired, Shinji's father committed suicide. Shinji was deeply affected by his father's suicide. After his father died, Shinji actually cut all contact with his brother and sister. For example, like one time his brother visited his apartment and Shinji immediately turned him away, telling his brother to go home and, quote, don't get involved with me. I couldn't really figure out like why Shinji was so upset with his siblings. I thought like, okay, maybe it would make sense like between him and his sister, because Shinji and his brother were being abused by the father, and sister seems like she wasn't being abused. So maybe there was like some rift there, but like I thought that, oh, okay, Shinji and his brother shared this experience, like why would he shut him out? But he did, and like it's unknown why he was upset with his siblings, but maybe his siblings were so closely connected with the memories of his father that he wanted to erase all of those bad memories, all of those bad experiences. And in order to do that, he had to cut contacts with his siblings. So Shinji's life continued to become more and more difficult. He was living alone, and by some reports, he was just getting by doing temporary jobs such as working at convenience stores and the like, which, like it's a normal job, obviously, if you have to get by and you don't have any other options, or this is an easy option. Well, it is a go-to option for easier option, let's say. Just completely normal job, right? So he was still working, he was still determined, he was still trying to get by. But unfortunately, financially, those jobs did not pay too much, so he wasn't doing very well. Then, in September 2006, Shinji had his first run-in with the law. He was arrested by the police for stealing underwear in Koshigaya City in Saitama Prefecture. Apparently, I don't know how to explain it, but apparently he told the police that his motive for stealing the underwear was because, quote, I was desperate because I was out of money, end quote. Which, I mean, raises even more questions, like what kind of underwear were you stealing? Like, unless it was made of gold, like I don't think there was much money you could get that could be earned by selling that underwear, or like I don't understand, like it's the connection lost, because I don't know where the correlation is between stealing underwear and earning money. Like, were you stealing it to sell it? Or do you mean, oh, I ran out of clean underwear and I didn't have money for, I don't know, laundromat? Maybe that's how bad it was, and he was just like, okay, I have to resort to stealing underwear because I can't really wash my clothes. I can't wash my underwear because I don't have even like coins to pay for the laundromat. Maybe, I don't know, unexplained. How the hell are female underwear became more expensive? Oh yeah, I mean, these prices are just abysmal. What the heck? Yeah, I have to say, like, the prices of underwear, the prices of like in general of like female products. Have you seen like female hygiene products? Oh my god, abysmal prices. This is like crime in broad daylight. But regardless, I digress. Sunrise, hi. And Silver01, hello. That's kind of weird. Well, I mean, Forest, hi. They have vending machines of women underwear, so I'm not surprised that he would try to sell underwear. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe. Who knows? Like, I couldn't find, like, what was the reason, like, what was the further explanation. He just explained that he needed money. So, you know, I guess that was, he thought it was a method. Okay, so as a result, Shinji was sentenced to 2 years in prison. When he got out, he got reconnected with his mother, actually, who had since remarried. And he lived with his mother and mother's new husband for a short time, but it was an arrangement that didn't last very long. Shinji didn't really get along with his mother's new husband, and he argued with him frequently, and after a few months, Shinji decided to move out on his own. So he was alone again. And living alone was difficult for him. He continued to have financial problems, and even though he lived in public housing, he still struggled to pay rent. Jose, thank you so much for donations. Such is the price of beauty and one's taste. I suppose, or have you seen, okay, I'm gonna digress a little bit more. Have you seen prices of, like, comparative prices of, let's say, male razors and female razors? Like, that's just scandalous. Like, literally, if I want to shave my legs or something, or if I need to shave, whatever, sounded bad, but if I need to shave my legs, I quite literally just buy male razors, because not only do you get, like, more in one pack, the price is lower than female razors. Like, for female razors, for women's razors, I pay a shit ton of money. So not hairy legs. Well, I mean, yeah, we have bodies with hair. Surprise. Body hair, whoa, scary. But it's so much more expensive. Like, women's, also, I have to say, like, I don't buy women's razors because if I see a commercial for a women, like for women's razors, they are shaving hairless legs. I'm like, if you want to impress me, shave a fucking gorilla. Like, yeah, like the lady in the commercial usually has no hair on her body whatsoever. I'm like, what are you shaving? Dead skin? Like, what is this? Exfoliation? What are we looking at? What am I looking at here? Is this razor actually working, or am I just, you know, baby hairs? Sure. That makes no sense. Are the blades different somehow? No. And also, like, women's razors have, like, less, like, lower number of blades. Usually it's like 2, I think. Like, some of them have just 2, some of them have literally just 1. Meanwhile, like, male razors have 3 or 4. So I just, yeah, shave your dead skin. Yeah, I literally just go for male razors. I save money. Okay. So again, living alone was very difficult for Shinji. He still had financial problems, and even though he lived in public housing, he still struggled to pay rent. When he got a job to make money, he was soon fired. Shinji's life was also, like, becoming increasingly isolated. He didn't have any friends and pretty much spent most of his time at home. Perhaps the only good and positive thing in Shinji's life was anime, because he continued watching it, he continued playing games, he spent a lot of his time actually watching anime shows, and it not only gave him comfort, anime actually motivated him to improve his life situation, so it wasn't bad for him. Life was tough, but he still didn't give up on his dreams of becoming rich and being somebody important. This was like his dream from early childhood. Like, he was just saying, like, I want to be someone important and, you know, in this industry. So he was particularly inspired by Kyoto Animation, and he dreamed of creating stories that were worthy of Kyoto Animation's approval. IDK, thank you so much for donation. I hope you aren't using disposable razors. Those are a scam. Razors in general are kind of scammy, and they are shit at their job. Get reloadable. Oh yeah, I do have, like, I used to use, like, disposable. Now, like, I only buy disposable. Okay, but I mean, why not? Let's digress. Now I only buy disposable razors if I'm, like, somewhere else traveling and I just didn't I don't know. I don't need to shave that often, but but why am I like TMIing? Sona Razor sponsorship when? Gillette, sponsor me. But I mean, maybe not Gillette. Gillette like produces those commercials with hairless women, and I'm just like, what? They never produced a commercial with a gorilla. Is there a brand that had a commercial with a gorilla shaving a gorilla? And I would stand by that. But yeah, like I usually just like I do have a reusable one, you know, like reloadable one. I only get like the one. What was it? The disposable ones if I'm traveling and I didn't bring one, because I'm not gonna get another like reloadable one. But yeah. Food reveal, no. All men's razor ads. Seriously, like I can, yeah, like any, yeah, I've noticed it's just like, it's so ridiculous. Like any like men razor ads, commercials and anything, they are like literally shaving, yeah, literally shaving a beard or a stubble or whatever it is. But you know, and suddenly we suddenly we switch to female razor commercials and it's just like, oh, hairless bodies. I'm like, what am I shaving? What am I looking at here? Am I supposed to have like a magnifying glass, microscope? How do I see those hairs? Are you shaving? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let me correct it. They do shave hair. They show hair. It's just an animation. It's like 3D simulated, like, you know, oh, you know, this razor shaves hair. Like no hair on the leg whatsoever. But then they switch. They pan to like 3D animated sequence where it's like, oh yeah, this razor shaves this artificial hair. This 3D hair. Yeah, like CGI, yeah. And I'm just like, come on now. They should make a female version of a reloadable razor. I think they have it. I think they do. I just never buy it because I stopped, as I said, like I stopped when it was like the female razors, the disposable ones were shit. Gillette is the go-to brand man. Kept my face clean while in the army. Okay, like Gillette, fine. Gillette, if you want to sponsor me, specifically male razors because your female razors are shit, then, you know, hit me up. Because we live in a society that normalizes hairless women because body hair is gross and totally not normal. Listen, like I'm okay with like, obviously, this is a personal choice. Body hair normal, completely normal. If I don't know, like my friends don't want to shave their legs, don't want to shave their armpits, absolutely 100% okay. I shave my legs. TMI. I shave my legs because I like the feel of like my legs being smooth. And I just like it. I don't know, like, I just like it. So, my personal choice. That's it. Nothing wrong with body hair. I got hair. I'm a hairy dude. Yeah, good for you. And if you don't have hair, good for you. I don't know. If you're a hairy person, good for you. If you're not a hairy person, good for you. It's fine. There are female reusable ones, but costs a bit. Yeah, like they all just cost an arm and a leg. It's like, yeah, I have to sell my arm, one arm and one leg, so I really have like half of my body to shave. How about chest hair? What? I mean, chest hair is normal too, right? Like for guys at least, it's normal. I shave my beard almost every day. Well, okay, that's not true. Chest hair can, I guess. Well, I mean, if you have some like thyroid, you know, issues, then yeah, women can have chest hair too. But that's probably, you should consult a doctor. Okay, I can grow a mountain man beard. Nice. So now stop selling arms. Stop selling arms. We're running out. Have you tried waxing, Sona? Dude, I don't want to be in pain. This hurts. I'm not gonna like beat myself and like put myself through pain. Although, every time I shave my legs, I come out of the shower with like my legs covered in blood, like gushing out blood because I cut everything. I always cut like at least like 5 spots in my legs, and I come out of the shower and it's just like trickled, like blood trickling down my legs. It's just like, oh my god. And then I have to like for 1 or 2 days, just like band-aids. Wax on, wax off, wax off, wax on. No, I don't want to be in pain. Like I'd rather just shave. It's fine. Like I don't care that much. Yeah, do you have sauna wax? That should be for punishment. Oh my god. Is that gonna be my punishment? Like waxing my legs? Damn. If you're making a crime scene regularly, apparently. Yeah, like I'm making a crime scene regularly. Like every time I just like come out of of the shower, just like all bloody legs. Sometimes a dude who can grow a goatee. I feel personally attacked. What? When you shave, you go bald somewhere. Huh? What? Excuse me? Oh my god. In that challenge, Jesus Christ. So that means I have to like grow the hair on my legs like kind of longer, because it has to be long for waxing. It has to be pretty long. Yeah, I can't like have short hair. I have to go caveman for a little bit. I have to go a little gorilla to shave to like wax. Dude, like I don't know, like it hurts. I don't want to do this. Shaved my legs once, never again. I feel you. I'm so tired every time I have to shave my legs. I'm so tired, but I shave them once in a while. When I'm inspired. Okay, good talk. Good talk. Thank you for coming to my TED talk about my leg hair. How hairy is your leg, son? I don't know. Like right now, not hairy because I shaved, but what? I wouldn't say I don't think I ever get to the gorilla, like Bigfoot level. I never get to that. Maybe I should. Maybe I should experiment. Okay, thank you for coming to my TED talk about body hair and abysmal prices, razor prices. I'll see you next time. Okay, we're gonna go back to this story. So again, Shinji was going through another crisis in life. He was, being isolated. He was becoming more, like, increasingly isolated, but anime was keeping him kind of sane. He was still focused on his dream of creating stories that would gain his beloved animation studio's approval. And in September 2009, when Shinji was 31, he decided that he wanted to be a professional writer and started writing light novels. He spent a lot of time writing notes of ideas for his novels and trying to perfect his craft. But Shinji's first attempts at becoming a writer were unsuccessful. He himself was very dissatisfied with his work and he would rewrite his novels many times. When he shared his novels or ideas on internet message boards, he not only didn't get any recognition, he was even ridiculed by other users. And I mean, yeah, I imagine it was like posting to Twitter, your idea to Twitter. You post to Twitter that you like waffles, and suddenly you are the topic of a witch hunt because you like waffles and you don't like crepes, or I don't know, you hate toast suddenly, even though you never said it. It's kind of like that. Like, people on the internet can be relentless. But yeah, so his ideas were not received very well. He was ridiculed by other users, and Shinji soon became very depressed. At one point, he had suicidal thoughts, but he couldn't go through with the suicide. So instead, he vented out his anger by destroying things in his house and punching holes in the walls. So there was some issues with aggression, like, growing within him. As you see the, ups and downs of Shinji's life were taking a toll on him. He was increasingly frustrated, isolated, and he felt like he wasn't getting anywhere in life. And on June 19th, 2012, Shinji would have his second run-in with the law because he took a knife and robbed a convenience store, where he took 21,000 yen, which is approximately $150 in today's exchange rate. After the robbery, he actually turned himself into the police, like himself, right? Like he himself turned himself in. When police interrogated Shinji, he gave many reasons for committing the robbery, such as his difficulty holding a job, his bad relationship with his family, and his failure to succeed as a novelist. He felt that everything in his life was going against him, and he was done living in society. He's just basically like, I am done, man. Like, I'm just gonna commit crimes because this is all I have left. That's the only option, which is sad. It is a sad thing. Like, it is a sad thought. Like, when you're having that kind of thoughts, like, you've hit rock bottom. And there's one thing that he told the police that really gave me chills, and not many people actually say, like, you know, report on it, but this is basically what he said. Quote, "When I got fired from my job, I thought I would throw gasoline on my mother and my brother and burn them all." End quote. Yeah, it's not specifically foreshadowing for KyoAni, but it is kind of related, right? Like, because this is literally what he did later. Okay, so since Shinji turned himself into the police, he was only sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. Unfortunately, Shinji's situation got worse in prison. He started to show signs of paranoia and apparently felt that he was being followed by what he called quote-unquote dark figures. And he had insomnia, hallucinations, he was hearing voices in his head, he had suicidal thoughts, and was even designated by the prison as a person requiring special attention. Then, in 2015, a doctor diagnosed Shinji with schizophrenia. And it was severe to the point that he was actually given a disability certificate. Despite his mental illness, Shinji actually didn't give up on his dream. While he was still incarcerated, while he was still in prison, he continued to watch a lot of anime by Kyoto Animation whenever he could, and wrote whenever he had access to those, and he wrote down ideas for a novel. Shortly before his release, he told prison staff that he wanted to, quote, debuted as a writer in 1 year, buy a house in 5 years, and be a big name in 10 years. So this was still his dream. I mean, okay, to be fair, like, I gotta say that it's quite amazing that despite everything that was happening in his life, he actually seemed, still at this point, he actually seemed very optimistic and confident about his dream. He was just like, he was not giving up on the dream. So eventually he was released from prison in 2016. He moved into an apartment in Saitama, so back in his, you know, like the home, well, not hometown, but home district. And though he still had to live on social welfare, he was relatively stable for a while. He went to the hospital for treatment for his mental health, for schizophrenia. He was routinely visited at his home by a social worker and spent a lot of his time writing notes. So he was still focused. He was focused, and he had one goal in mind: to write a great light novel and win the Kyoto Animation Award. Right, so the big competition that KyoAni runs. Winning this competition probably meant everything for Shinji. It would instantly give him a career opportunity. Even if he didn't win the grand prize, the top prize, it would be a great achievement for him and would be a great step towards his dream. So he had to give it everything he got. Finally, Shinji had completed a light novel that he thought was worthy submitting to the 2017 Kyoto Animation Award competition. Unfortunately, his novel didn't even make it past the first round. And the next year, Shinji submitted another light novel to the 2018 competition, but to his major disappointment, he was again eliminated in the first round, so it didn't even pass the first stage. Shinji took the rejection very, very hard. He was crushed and in disbelief that despite all of his hard work, he didn't get anywhere, and he didn't even get past the first round, which means his favorite anime studio of all time flat out rejected him. I mean, you guys know where this is going. So in a last effort, in a last-ditch effort, he tried to submit his novels to an online website where, you know, aspiring novelists post their work. He was hoping that he could get recognition elsewhere, not necessarily in that competition, or at least get some feedback. But sadly, still no one read his novels and he left the website. He wasn't persistent. He just kind of gave up. And here is where the case begins to really take a dark turn. For Shinji, disappointment soon turned into frustration. Then it turned into hate. A deep and blood-boiling hate that was directed at Kyoto Animation. You know, the studio which he had loved since he was a teenager, but now that they've rejected him, he started like really hating them. And sometime around October 2018, several staff members at Kyoto Animation, this is actually the same building, so Kyoto Animation Studio 1. So those staff members at the studio received over 200 death threats via email from an anonymous user. And KyoAni immediately reported this to the police, but since the sender used a special software to hide their identity, there was just no way to find out who the sender was, which is, I mean, it's incredible. I don't know if the police was like taking it seriously. Maybe they weren't taking it seriously enough. It's kind of hard for me to imagine that with the technology that we have today to track, that we have access to today, I'm pretty sure police can track down anyone. It's a little hard for me to imagine that, you know, police in Japan didn't have enough resources to like track down this person. But I kind of feel like they just weren't treating it seriously. They were just like, well, this person didn't do anything. These are just death threats. Unless something actually happens, we're not gonna like treat it very seriously. I mean, I don't want to like blame them, because this was never said anywhere, that police was never treating it seriously. I'm just kind of, this is my opinion. Like, I was just thinking, like, were they not treating this seriously? Were they not like willing to spend more resources to actually find out who was sending those death threats? Maybe. So, I mean, as we all know now, it's just very likely that this person who was sending KyoAni all those death threats was 100% Shinji Aoba. So the death threats felt very real, and both KyoAni and the police, well, I mean, I guess they did kind of take it seriously. They didn't find out the, so to be fair, like, they didn't find out the identity of the person who was sending those death threats, but they did take the security seriously, because for a while, police patrols were put temporarily like around KyoAni Studio 1 office as a precaution. But somehow the death threats just stopped coming in at one point, and you know, and they also stopped with the patrols, because they were just like, okay, well, this you know, the death threats stopped, this person gave up, there's no point in us continuing with the security, which in the long run it was a mistake. Well, it was a mistake not to find out who this was, like not to really like put resources into finding out who this person was at the time. Then one day in November 2018, something happened that would escalate everything. So Shinji Aoba was in his home and happened to be watching an anime produced by KyoAni. This was an all-new anime series called Tsurune, that had just been released a month ago. And there was a scene in the anime episode that Shinji felt was very familiar, too familiar. Then something clicked. That scene in the anime Tsurune was just like a scene in the novel which Shinji submitted to the Kyoto Animation Award competition. I mean, this was a shock. Like, how could this happen? Was it a coincidence or something more malicious? To Shinji, like, it was clear that there was only one possible explanation to this. Kyoto Animation had plagiarized his work. Like, they rejected his novel, but for some reason they decided to use a scene in his novel and material that he submitted to the competition, even though they rejected him. So this was, you know, that was it for him. Shinji was livid. He was livid. Not only, you know, had they refused to give him even a bit of recognition, even if they rejected him from the competition, he was just like, why didn't I get recognition for this? Like, you just blatantly plagiarized my work. You know, Shinji felt like, yeah, like he just felt like he was wronged. This was basically the last straw, and we begin to see, like at this point, we begin to see Shinji's mind go insane. First, Shinji burnt all the drafts and notes that he had written for his novel, the novel that supposedly they plagiarized, right? And it sounds kind of it kind of sounds counterintuitive to do this scene, since like, wouldn't you try to keep your notes as evidence to prove that Kyoto Animation plagiarized your work? Like, this is the first step, right? Like, if you have your original notes, if you have all the, you know, drafts and stuff like written, physical, I don't know, on the internet, wouldn't you want to keep it? So that was kind of counterintuitive, but it was also in line with like him kind of getting insane. Whatever was going on in his head, clearly like he was not thinking straight. Then Shinji started to exhibit increasingly violent tendencies that never really occurred before. One time, when a social worker came to his house for a regular welfare check, Shinji grabbed the social worker by the chest, pulled out a kitchen knife, and said, quote, "You're so persistent. Stop following me around. If you don't stop, I will kill you," end quote. So remarkably, like, the social worker was able to remain calm, and he persuaded Shinji to hand over the knife and stop, you know, the attack, like let him go. Considering what would happen in the following months, like it's short of a miracle that this social worker came out of the situation unharmed, uninjured, you know, safe and sound. But definitely shocked. I don't know. I don't know. I should or shouldn't live in Japan. Well, Japan is generally speaking one of the safest countries. But well, I think freak incidents like this just happen everywhere. It's just, you know, there's a probability. I think as long as you stay safe and you kind of don't put yourself into like kind of dangerous situations or dangerous areas, because there are dangerous areas in Tokyo. There are sketchy in Tokyo, in Japan. There are sketchy areas in Japan. Just don't go to those. I think you're gonna be good. Like if you kind of keep yourself safe and, you know, highly like on high alert when you're, I don't know, walking at night alone, you're gonna be good. It's built into human nature. Oh, the violence. Yeah, social workers have been trained for this. Yeah, like I think, you know, the social workers, his abilities, his skills, and like the training just kind of maybe prepared him for this, and he managed to keep calm. But Shinji continued to spiral out of control. By February 2019, this is already the year of the incident, but a couple of months before the incident. By February 2019, Shinji stopped going to the hospital for his regular checkups for schizophrenia, which already sounds like it's bad. Which were, you know, the hospital was supposed to like keep tabs on his mental health. He was supposed to keep tabs on his mental health, get treatment, but he stopped going to treatment. That's bad. That also meant that he stopped receiving or taking his medication. Again, very bad. He then cut off all contacts with anyone and even canceled his cell phone service. Like literally cut everything. And as Shinji's mental health declined, there was no knowing what he would do next. Then, in June 2019, something in his mind snapped. Shinji went to a supermarket in the city to buy 6 kitchen knives, each over 20 centimeters long or almost 8 inches long. And yes, you're probably already thinking about it. You're probably already know what's gonna happen. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Shinji was actually inspired by the Akihabara massacre, a tragic incident that happened in 2008. This is a newspaper from that incident. So the incident where a frustrated man drove a truck into crowds of people in the busy Akihabara shopping district, It's very, by the way, like this is a crowded area. Akihabara, super crowded. So this guy drove a truck into the crowd, killing a lot of people. And then he got out of the truck and stabbed 12 people with a knife. So, you know, Shinji felt that he too, like the perpetrator of the Akihabara massacre, he wanted to act out his frustration towards society in the most violent way possible. So this was his plan. He got the knives. He took the 6 kitchen knives and he went to the busy entrance of the Omiya train station in Saitama. It's wild. It's wild to see this. It's wild to see this picture and just talk about this because I've been to this station. Like I lived near the station. I mean, was it? Yeah, I was in Japan. Yo, I was in Japan. I don't know if I lived... Was it 2019? I didn't... Okay, luckily I didn't live in Saitama at the time. I didn't live near the station at the time, but previously when I think like my first or second year in Japan, like I lived very close, like 1 station away from this station. So I lived in Minami Urawa. I think it was like 1 or 2 stations. So my station was Minami Urawa and then 2 stations away from Omiya station. Crazy. That is pretty horrifying. So he took 6 kitchen knives and went to the busy entrance of the Omiya train station in Saitama. He was prepared to kill as many people randomly as he could. He was just like, okay, this is it. This station is the major station in Saitama. I'm gonna do this. So, however, when Shinji arrived at Omiya station, I don't know if this was just some, well, bad luck for him, I guess, for his plan, but luck for... like very lucky for other people, but there weren't, that particular day, it just so happened that there weren't a lot of people in front of the station. So with so few people around, Shinji felt like, you know, his planned mass murder would just not play out as he envisioned in his sick mind, and it wouldn't have that huge impact that he wanted it to have. Like it wouldn't be that much of a, maybe, well, it would be a shock, but like it wouldn't be the scale that he wanted. So luckily for people at Omiya station that day, he gave up and he went back home. Like he gave up on the planned attack. And it wouldn't be much of a spoiler to say that Shinji Aoba's murderous intentions didn't stop there. At this point, he was just a ticking time bomb waiting for a spark to set him off. And that spark happened just a few months later. So on July 14th, 2019, it was a Sunday evening and Shinji Aoba was in his apartment. Suddenly, there was a loud noise coming from the upstairs neighbor. But Shinji mistakenly thought that it was his neighbor next door who was causing the noise. For normal people, like noise issues from neighbors is, you know, if you live in an apartment building, it is a very regular thing and generally like not a huge deal. You would maybe come to confront the neighbor, but just ask them like, hey, I'm sorry, can you keep it down? But Shinji was like immediately triggered and he started banging aggressively on the wall he shared with the neighbor. And the next door neighbor was startled. Obviously, like it wasn't the next door neighbor that was making this noise. So, you know, the next door neighbor was kind of frustrated and he went to ring Shinji's intercom to explain that he wasn't the one making the noise. And to his surprise, Shinji opened his front door, then grabbed the neighbor by the chest and pulled his hair, shouting, basically, shut up, I'll kill you, I've got nothing to lose. This is a quote. Yeah, like this is literally a quote, like, quote, shut up, I'll kill you, I've got nothing to lose. So Shinji continued to yell aggressively at the neighbor for 10 minutes. Then he shut his door. And the next door neighbor was understandably very scared for his life, for his safety. He went to the police to report the incident and seek advice on what to do next. However, when the police went to Shinji's house to confront him, Shinji was gone. And police had no idea where he had gone. This is July 14th, 15th, 2019. KyoAni fire happened on July 18th. So this is a couple of days before. So thanks to CCTV footage, we know we now know after the fact what Shinji had been up to. So that day, wearing a red shirt and blue jeans, Shinji went to the bank to withdraw 57,000 yen, or around $400 from his account. And the next day, that was on, yeah, like July 16th, or I think it was like July 16th by now, or yeah, I think so. So the next day, he took a Shinkansen, or high-speed rail, to Tokyo. After staying the night at a hotel, he then took another high-speed rail to Kyoto. And if it isn't obvious enough, Kyoto is where Kyoto Animation Studio is located. This is actually a footage of Shinji close to, I believe, Uji Station. So yeah, like this was the CCTV footage of him walking near Uji Station in Kyoto. Then on Wednesday, July 17th, still wearing the exact same red shirt and blue jeans that he wore in the past 3 days, Shinji went to a home improvement center to buy a metal cart and several gasoline cans. He then pushed the cart with these cans around 6 kilometers, or almost 4 miles, and stopped at Momoyama Funadomari Park, where he camped out for the night. And Momoyama Funadomari Park is just half a kilometer away from Kyoto Animation Studio 1, one of the 5 offices of KyoAni in the Kyoto region, which is located in Uji. So he got to the Uji station first, which is a city, like Uji is a city just south of Kyoto. Okay, so the next morning on July 18th, Shinji went to a nearby gas station to buy 40 liters or 11 gallons of gasoline. And I know what you guys are gonna say, like, why did they sell him the gasoline? Like, this is so suspicious. Like, who would need 40 liters of gasoline or 11 gallons of gasoline, right? And let me tell you this, the gas station clerk was very confused why a random guy with no car, because he didn't have a car, why would he need so much gasoline? But Shinji did convince the clerk that he needed the gas to use it for a power generator. So the clerk did sell him the gasoline. And then Shinji transferred the gasoline from the canisters into 2 large buckets. Then with murder on his mind, he walked towards the KyoAni Studio 1 building. This is actually CCTV footage of that day when he's walking towards the studio. He's making his way. You can see the buckets. It's kind of like when you know now, like what happened right after. It's fucking scary. It's terrible. Yeah, so here he's making his way, you know, across the street, like he's making his way to KyoAni Studio 1. There's like another footage, I believe this one. Oh yeah, like you can see him like a little bit more clearly here, with the buckets, with the cart, and with all the tools. It's crazy. Okay, and now we get to I think the worst part. So it's 10:31 a.m. July 18th, 2019, when Shinji arrives at KyoAni Studio 1, and he pushed through the front doors. There were around 5 KyoAni employees around the first floor entrance at the time, and they didn't know what to expect. Like they didn't know how to react. They didn't know if this was like some renovation worker. I don't know, like maybe there was some delivery worker. But Shinji immediately poured gasoline everywhere on the first floor, and even on top of some KyoAni employees. Like he literally poured it over people. And then he took out a long-nosed lighter, flicked it, and screamed, "Die." So when Shinji flicked the lighter, he didn't just light a fire. Because you see, he had poured out so much gasoline that it had actually mixed with the air, like, you know, the fire when he lit up the lighter. So instead of just a fire, there was a huge explosion. And within 10 seconds, the whole first floor was on fire. And then another 10 seconds, the second floor was on fire too. And then within a minute, after Shinji flicked the lighter, the third floor was also on fire. Like it was brutal. It was terrible. Like no one could have expected how aggressive this fire would be. So the employees in the Studio One building were in complete panic, but the sheer intensity of the fire made it difficult to escape. This is just one picture. That's just a picture, a candid photo. I have some videos, and this is where I'm gonna warn you guys. The videos are pretty terrifying. Like photos, yeah, photos are terrifying. You see the black smoke, it's so thick, like the whole building is just engulfed in fire and smoke. But the videos are pretty terrible. So within 60 seconds of the fire starting, the entire building was already filled with smoke. And this wasn't just normal smoke. It was like it was this extremely hot smoke, over 100 degrees Celsius or over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat of the smoke likely caused other flammable things in the building to ignite, because the smoke was so hot that it was setting off like next fires, right? So it was setting next items and pieces of furniture and whatever, like on fire, which means the fire was just getting exponentially intense. It was horrifying. This is just one video. This is another video. Like there's a couple of those videos. So after igniting the fire, Shinji Aoba actually accidentally set himself on fire too. And as he was burning, he ran out of the building and collapsed in a nearby street. So here's the deal, and I'm gonna talk about it in a minute. I just wanted to show you guys this video. Man, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was like people didn't know what to do. Firemen didn't know what to do. Like they were trying to put it out, but it was burning for so long. Like even after they kind of got the fire under control, the building still burned for like hours and hours on end. It's pretty horrible. Okay, so he accidentally sets himself on fire, right? And he ran, like, as he was burning, he actually ran out of the building and collapsed in a nearby street. And passersby just didn't know that Shinji was the arsonist, and they assumed that he was one of the employees, he was one of the victims. So they poured water on him and tried to help him. I mean, yeah, like, you know, decency, kind of like if you see someone in distress, like you would try to, like on fire, you would try to put them out, you would try to help them. I don't know how people would react if they knew that he was the one who started the fire and now he was on fire, if they would help him. Honestly, I don't know. It's a difficult situation. Like if I were in this situation and I knew that he's the arsonist, honestly, for a moment, I would be conflicted. I would be a little bit conflicted if I would help him. I mean, yeah. Do I want, like, would I want this life to be on my hands, this blood to be on my hands? I don't think so. But on the other hand, would it be wrong? Like, would it be terrible of me? Like, would I be a terrible human being if I didn't react? If I knew that this is the arsonist that just set the whole building on fire? I think I would be I would be conflicted. This is a very difficult question. Okay, so they pour water on him and they try to help him. They're trying to help him. Eventually, like, Shinji regained consciousness and he stood up and he tried to get away. Fortunately, two Kyoto Animation employees recognized him as the arsonist and they chased after him until they eventually caught him near the Rokujizo station, about 100 meters or 330 feet from KyoAni Studio One. And eventually police arrived on the scene and apprehended Shinji when they figured out who he was and what he's done. As Shinji was arrested, he cried out to the police officers, quote, "Don't touch me, they plagiarized my work, call the president of KyoAni, and I want to talk to the president," end quote. If he dies, we wouldn't be able to get answers. That is true. On the other hand, yeah, if he dies, no answers. So like, oh, he, you know, he got away with it by, you know, just succumbing to his own plan. So yeah, like Omnibus, like I agree with Onimbus. I'm sorry if I Onimbus. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. But yeah, I agree. Like on one hand, you know, like it's just like, oh, I don't care if he suffers because he's the one who committed this terrible, terrible crime. But on the other hand, like, oh, but we won't get any answers. So he killed a bunch of people, then turned into a Karen. What the fuck? Yeah, like it's getting worse and worse. I really don't know what to think. Like yeah. Onion bus. Men is now a new type of Karen. Yeah, like this was a terrible thing to say. It's just like, just don't say anything. Like, just you know, they're arresting you. They know you did this anyway. Like, just don't say anything. Why are you making this like even worse? But well, I mean, not necessarily. What if he had a point? What if, well, I mean, not a point in like doing what he did, but like, oh, about plagiarism. What if that was the reason and it was like legitimate claims? Like, oh, they plagiarized my work. Obviously, absolutely zero excuse to set the studio on fire, kill so many people. But you know, like, oh, was there truth in what he was saying? Like, did they plagiarize his work? Okay, let's move on. So when firefighters arrived and eventually controlled the fire, as I said, like the building still continued to burn for 5 hours, for over 5 hours. I mean, it was that bad. It was that terrible. So there was a massive rescue operation. Over 100 fire trucks, ambulances, and helicopters arrived at the scene, and nearly 400 firefighters, police, and first responders were involved in the efforts. Although the efforts of the rescue workers were, you know, they were great, they were fast, heroic even, the damage had already been done, and 34 KyoAni employees had died initially as a result of the fire. Later, that number was brought up to 36, with another 34 employees injured, severely injured. And you know what's another tragic fact that I think a lot of articles didn't talk about, a lot of news media like didn't talk about? So well, I mean, they did talk about it briefly, but like, yeah, like not that many go into detail. But this was absolutely tragic. Like, what was absolutely tragic is that 20 of the victims had died on a spiral staircase on the 3rd floor. They were actually attempting to escape to the roof, but the door to the roof couldn't be opened. So all of them were trapped and lost their lives on that staircase. And as I said, like a lot of, not that it makes a difference, you know, if they were male employees or female employees, but it was, I think it just adds to the tragedy that a lot of those people like trapped, those 20 employees were like women, and they thought they were going to escape to the roof. They were like, okay, we can get out to the roof, we're gonna be safe. Or, you know, the first responders, the firemen can find us, they will save us. But the door was closed. And according to Kyoto police, many of the victims had been burned beyond recognition, making it difficult to identify who they were, forcing the authorities to use DNA testing to confirm the victims' identities. And autopsy results on the victims revealed that a majority of the victims had succumbed to burns rather than carbon monoxide poisoning. Because you would think, like, when I was reading about it, when I was like discussing it with Intan-kun, I was actually saying like, oh, you know, it's tragic, but maybe, you know, there's hope that, okay, they were trapped on that staircase, but the carbon monoxide poisoning just knocked them out and at least they didn't suffer. No, a lot of, actually, like all of those people on the staircase, the autopsy revealed that they died of burns. Because of burns, they were not unconscious. They literally died in a lot of pain. So with 34 victims killed out of you know, out in cold blood, the Kyoto Animation Massacre was the largest act of murder in Japan since the end of World War II. And shockingly, the death count could have been higher. Well, I mean, 36 victims, sorry, not 34. 34 initial victims, 36 later. So it could have been, the death count could have been higher, because you see, when police arrested Shinji Aoba, this is another shot of him like being on the floor, first responders, police being around him. So when he was arrested, it was discovered that he had, in his backpack, he had those 6 kitchen knives. So probably the same kitchen knives which he had originally bought to commit mass murder at a train station in Saitama. And Shinji likely brought the knives to kill any employees that tried to escape the building, or perhaps to use as a backup plan if the fire failed. If he failed to set the fire. So he was planning to definitely murder as many people as possible. Okay, so when Shinji Aoba was caught by the police, he was still alive and he was sent to the hospital for treatment. As Shinji had suffered severe burns all over his body, the doctors only gave him a 2.55% chance to live. But wouldn't you know it, in a sick twist of fate, Shinji actually managed to survive. He is alive. However, even though Shinji survived, he was still in critical condition, and by rule in Japan, police weren't allowed to formally arrest him, since he would have to be medically fit to be held in a detention center, and he wasn't medically fit. He was burned. He was suffering burns. It was only until May 2020, so nearly 10 months after the massacre, that Shinji Aoba was declared fit enough to be arrested, and he was formally charged on December 2020 for multiple murders, attempted murder, arson, breaking and entering, and possession of weapons. So it wasn't until this year that Shinji Aoba would be put on trial. I'm not entirely sure why it took almost 3 years for this trial to happen, but my guess is that due to the severity of his injuries, Shinji may not have been physically able to appear in court to speak in public. But nevertheless, on September 5th, 2023, Shinji Aoba's trial began, and he pleaded guilty to all the charges against him. And actually, just a few days ago, on December 7th, 2023, so this is just a few days ago, prosecutors announced that they would be seeking the death penalty against Shinji Aoba. And we are currently waiting for the verdict to be announced on January 25th, 2024. So in just a month, the verdict is gonna be announced. Okay, so due to the public outcry and the severity of the crimes, so the general expectation is that Shinji will be put to death. However, there is a lot of speculation that due to Shinji's history of mental illness, specifically with schizophrenia, there is a chance that his sentence could be reduced to life in prison instead. Regardless of what your opinion is on the issue, the fact of the matter is that Japan has had a history of giving lighter sentences to individuals with proven mental illnesses. But we can only hope that the court, I can hope, and we can hope that the court will issue a fair and just sentence come January next year. A fair sentence to everyone. Well, I mean, he's definitely not gonna get out of prison. Even if it's not the death penalty is off the table, he is definitely not getting out of prison. Does he deserve to live out his life in prison? Live out his life longer than people he killed? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. That's for the court to decide. So, now we can pivot to a slightly positive note. The Kyoto animation tragedy brought together not only the entire nation of Japan, but also the entire world. People around the world poured in words of support, and most of all, contributed financially to help the victims. After KyoAni created a donations bank account for the victims and their families, they received over 3 billion yen in donations, which is $20 million USD. There was also a GoFundMe fundraiser, which raised over $2 million to help rebuild Kyoto Animation Studio and help the victims' families. In addition, the Japanese government also passed a special measure to allow all donations to KyoAni to be exempt from taxes. So, you know, this was a, you know, in this whole tragedy and this whole like terrible situation, at least this was something positive. It's not gonna return, it's not gonna, you know, obviously it's not gonna bring back the ones who died in the incident, but it's not gonna bring anyone's life back, but at least it can see, it can like help the families, and it can help the studio. So despite, you know, the horrific incident, horrific act of violence, I don't know, like it's somewhat like a little bit heartwarming to see how everyone just came together to help KyoAni through this tragedy. Not surprisingly, as a result of the arson attack, several KyoAni projects were put on hold, one of which was the new Violet Evergarden film, Violet Evergarden Eternity and the Autumn Memory Doll. This is actually the one that I was talking about, because it was going to be released in January. Like, it was first delayed like after the incident. It was supposed to come out in like autumn, I think 2019. Then it was delayed to January 2020, but got delayed again due to COVID-19, so it was like even later. But that was the movie that I was like waiting for when I was still in Japan. And I think I watched it. I think I actually watched this in Japan, because I think I was already living in Taiwan, but at one point I went to Japan for like a short while, like I think it was like 2021, 2022. And yeah, I remember vaguely that I did watch it in Japan because it was like finally out. So Violet Evergarden is my favorite, guys, so it hurts me. Yeah, like I mean, it's one of my favorite shows too, one of my favorite stories too. Asona stream is a great stream to be in. Doesn't matter if the case is brutally bad or worse. At least I get to enjoy the stream and learn something new. I mean, I'm glad to hear that. I'm sorry that the story is pretty depressing, but it's, you know, I think it's a story pretty close to a lot of the fans, so a lot of us here. Okay, so despite many delays, a lot of KyoAni projects have already started to continue. Many employees who survived the arson attack have stayed with the company, and since the attack, the company hired and trained new staff. The Studio One building was actually demolished on April 28th, 2020. And in the end, KyoAni decided to not to rebuild studio there in that location due to the location's tragic past. There aren't any official plans yet for the space, but the president of KyoAni said that they are considering building a park or a memorial at that location. However, like this is not likely. It's not likely to happen because local residents have been against the idea, since they don't want too many visitors like flooding into their neighborhood. Because, you know, if there's a memorial for the victims, you know, it's gonna create this kind of tourist location. I know, like, oh, people want to pay their respects, but just the local residents are against it. They don't want that many visitors flooding into their neighborhood, disturbing their neighborhood and their peace. So we'll wait and see what actually happens to the old location of Studio One. It's not gonna be, the new studio is not gonna be built there. Who are they to decide? Well, I mean, they are, you know, they are frustrated. They are local residents. Some of them live there their whole lives. They, you know, I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one. Like, I understand the frustration of local residents, but I also understand the significance of the location, and it would be nice to have like a park. It doesn't even like park memorial, like it is a significant location, you know, like it would be important to commemorate the victims. I don't know, they will decide, we will see what happens. So I actually wanted to talk about some of the controversies that came out of the Kyoto animation arson attack. So the first is of course the safety, like the safety of the Studio One building, because there were some controversies, like controversial facts that came out. So apparently the building did not have any fire sprinklers or indoor fire hydrants, which sounds ridiculous. Like, it is a company, it is a, you know, like they should like just, you know, make sure to like, you know, just make sure that safety measures are in place, right, for this kind of situation. However, it wasn't because of negligence of the company. Like, you would think, like, a lot of people thought like, oh, the company was negligent, like why didn't they why didn't they have like sprinklers and fire hydrants in place? But it wasn't because of negligence, but actually because of the technicalities and regulations. Because you see, the Studio One building was classified as a small office building, and in Japan, these types of buildings don't require fire sprinklers or fire hydrants. So they obviously require like fire extinguishers, but not like full on sprinklers and hydrants. Nevertheless, because of this incident, because of this case, Japanese officials are revisiting the country's fire safety rules, and, you know, in order to prevent these tragedies from happening again. So it's possible that, you know, this rule is gonna change, and all of the buildings are gonna be, if they are a you know, places of business, they are gonna be required to have sprinklers. That's so stupid. Logic doesn't seem sound. That doesn't make any sense. Well, I mean, that's how the rules were in Japan. Now they are revisiting the policy, so maybe that's gonna change. The other controversy is that Shinji Aoba was able to purchase 40 liters of gasoline, so 11 gallons of gasoline, without anyone stopping him. And I know that you guys were frustrated with this. Are you serious, Japan? I mean, luckily they are, you know, looking into this, so, you know. Subero said, fun fact, the building also didn't use fire-resistant materials for the building, again, cause it was an old building. Yeah, it was an old building. There was like a number of things that was just wrong, was just not fireproof about this building. Okay, so the second thing was that he was able to purchase 11 gallons of gasoline, 40 liters of gasoline, without anyone stopping him. And I get that he, you know, gave the gas station employees a reasonable explanation, but it's just way too dangerous to let like random people buy so much highly flammable material, especially if the person doesn't even like arrive in a car. Like, it would be a little more believable and like understandable if Shinji arrived by car and he was just like, okay, you know, I'm just going on a, I don't know, like going on a long trip, and I need to be able to like have the gas wherever, right? Like, oh, I'm going into a remote location, I just want to have some gas stashed. So as a result of this controversy, the government of Japan had issued a notice requiring all gas stations nationwide to maintain sales records of people purchasing gasoline in refillable containers. So that was, you know, at least immediately, like if someone has the refillable containers and they purchase gas in them, like they are on the record. Each record must contain the buyer's personal information such as name, address, the purpose of the purchase, and quantity purchased. Though this was a little too late, obviously, because damage was done. It is a step in the right direction, I think, to prevent future arson attacks like this one from happening ever again. Okay, now, Oh yeah, did KyoAni also updated their policy on content submission to avoid this happening again? Well, okay, so we're gonna go into the plagiarism controversies right now, because this might not actually be necessary. You know, I think their rules were fine and clear, and I don't think there was a mistake made by the studio. Like, I'm gonna explain, because everyone was kind of, a lot of the comments were like, there were some people who were like, oh, I'm on the guy's side because they plagiarized his work. But not many news media outlets, and again, like I said it so many times, not many of the materials out there, videos out there, actually mention like what exactly was the problem. Like all of the points that he raised, that, oh, this scene was plagiarized, this scene was plagiarized. I'm gonna talk about it. So we end with one of the controversies of this case that generated a lot of interest, and it has to do with the motive, right? Which is that KyoAni plagiarized the light novels which he submitted to the Kyoto Animation Award competition. So, did KyoAni really steal materials from Shinji Aoba's work? I'm not saying that it justifies any of the, you know, Shinji's actions, but his claim certainly caused a lot of people to raise questions. And again, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm on his side because they plagiarized it, right? Maybe it was an extreme measure, but they pushed him to do this, right? So when the news of this alleged plagiarism broke out, at first KyoAni denied that Shinji Aoba ever submitted anything to them. But later on, after they dug through their files, they confirmed that they did indeed receive draft novels from Shinji Aoba, and they had been eliminated in the first stage of the contest and were completely forgotten by all the staff. So the question remains, was anything stolen at all? Because it doesn't look good, you know, like they first denied that they received anything from him, but then they realized like, oh wait, they backtracked, like, oh wait, we did receive something from him. But, you know, myself and Intan-kun did a little digging, and, you know, I wanted to go over each of the plagiarism claims with all of you, comparing the anime to Shinji's work, and perhaps we can make a conclusion of our own. So in total, Shinji Aoba made 3 claims of plagiarism from 3 different anime produced by Kyoto Animation. The first claim is from Tsurune, which is the anime which first caught Shinji's attention and is the most well-known plagiarism claim. In this anime, in Tsurune, there is a scene where 2 characters are in a grocery store. One character puts a pack of meat in his shopping cart, and the other character finds the same one at a 20% discount and suggests that the character just gets that one instead. Okay, compare that to Shinji Aoba's novel. There is a scene in the novel where the heroine of the story, you know, in the novel, where the heroine of the story buys discounted side dishes at 50% discount. That's it. That's the scene. That's the scene that he was saying that triggered him because it was plagiarized. There is no other similarity, like characters buying products on discount. Not even the lines are exactly the same. That's it. Like, no lines are the same. It's just the scene. It's just the fact that the scene involves different involves different types of characters. But okay, that's that. So on to the second plagiarism claim. This time it's against the anime titled Free, which is an anime about a Japanese high school swim team. Let me just read. That's it. Yeah, that was that. The previous one, that was that. It was like the meat section in a supermarket, characters doing like some shopping and like buying stuff on discount. All this bullshit, and for that, I know about this, but it still makes me mad. Hold up, because there's more. So, the second plagiarism claim comes like in regards to the anime titled Free. So, on the second plagiarism, in this anime, like the second plagiarism claim, in this anime, there is one scene in episode 9 where the characters look at a school banner. This is the scene. The school banner that reads, quote, "The swim team advances to regionals," end quote. And in Shinji's novel, apparently, there is also a scene where a similar style hang down banner appears. It doesn't, I don't know if it says the same thing, but that's it. That's the claim. That's the claim, because there was a banner on the school or something, and it hangs down on a building. I mean, I'm sure what you're thinking, like, I'm sure that you're right now, like, you're thinking, what the fuck? But let's hold our final let's just hold it. Let's hold on for the final, like, with the final verdict until we, you know, we cover the last plagiarism claim. That's kind of common, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of common. It's like, I don't know. It's getting ridiculous. But let's hold on. You know, the last plagiarism claim. So the last claim, which is against the widely popular anime KyoAni, which, if you don't know, is kind of like the slice of life anime about a rock band club in a girls' high school. So in this anime, the main character Yui tells her kohai, or like junior class member, Azusa. So she says, quote, "I'm going to be held back a grade. That means we're going to be same year classmates," end quote. And in Shinji Aoba's novel, a male high school student is told by his homeroom teacher, quote, "If you keep this up, you're going to be held back a year." And that's it. That is it as well. Like, it's so... Okay, my verdict is that... What the fuck? That's just like, oh no, wait, I lived in Japan. Like, it's just like as if I said, excuse me, I lived in Japan for a couple of years, and every day when I came to the office, I would say, "Ohayo gozaimasu." It's like, what? Someone owes me something. Like, I think I'm owed money. Like, what the heck? It's like, oh, so many animes and Netflix animes and just Japanese animes are owning me money because I'm saying, you know, I said every day of my life in Japan, I said "Ohayo gozaimasu." It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. So, I mean, to me, it's pretty clear that these connections are just faulty, that they are non-connections between his novels and his, like, KyoAni anime, which, you know, probably has to do with his declining mental state. Like, in the end, I think it had to do with his mental state, the fact that he stopped being treated for schizophrenia, and his deep disappointment, like his disappointment after being eliminated by the Kyoto Animation Studio like awards twice. And again, even if KyoAni did plagiarize Shinji Aoba's work, it gives him no justification for committing what he did, right? Like, doing what he did. Like, this is no reason, like no justification for what he's done. Even if they plagiarized his work, which I think they did, and it's just like fucking ridiculous. So Shinji Aoba didn't even try to make a plagiarism claim in a proper legal way, because he could have. There was nothing stopping him, you know, like, he could have done this. He didn't have to burn the building and kill so many people. He could have just filed a plagiarism claim. He could have consulted with a lawyer, maybe, like, you know, or just like contact KyoAni Studio and be like, hey, this is happening, you know, I need some recognition, or like, oh, I think that you guys plagiarized my work, you know, or he didn't even give KyoAni a chance to give their side of the story, and he just decided to kill everyone in the Studio One building, not caring. He didn't care if the people in there were even involved or guilty of stealing his work, which, by the way, they weren't, and no one was, because there was no plagiarism there. Sunny Rainy Day, thank you so much. What a lousy excuse to commit crime. All crimes have excuses, but this one was laughable, dull. Yeah, it's just so terrible. Before I conclude the topic of plagiarism, I just wanted to share like a few comments from users on YouTube who basically like voiced their opinion on the opinions on like this whole situation about Shinji Aoba's claims of plagiarism, which I thought were pretty spot on. So this one says, "This seemingly innocent and unassuming scene is now darkest scene in anime history." Yeah. Then another one. Okay, this one like makes me laugh a little bit because like dark humor, but in 1995, I wrote a short story about a fast guy running through a city. Years later, Sonic would run through multiple cities in the span of 20 years. Well, I guess it's time to burn down Sega, claiming hundreds of innocent lives. I mean, as I said, like I would be like, well, I lived in Japan for a couple of years, and every day when if I was, I don't know, like leaving, leaving the company, I would just, I said, wow, every day I would be saying, oh, ittekimasu, or ohayo gozaimasu. Oh no, someone owes me something. I think animation studios owe me something, and like manga studios owe me a lot of cash. Or like, I don't know, no, I wrote this one short story and one character gave the other character a toothpaste. I'm like, here's some toothpaste. Oh no. It's just so dumb. Or like using I once in 1990 whatever in the 90s I used the word senpai, or 2000s. Oh, I used the word senpai. I think I should file a claim. I think I should burn down some studios. Sorry, this is a Wendy's. So that's another comment. And this one is also interesting. If I was in his shoes, I would be more happy to know that they used a part of my shitty story on an anime scene. It only means that they actually saw a good thing in my story. I would use it as an inspiration to better my works, so in the future my story would be chosen. I mean, he only got rejected twice. Others almost got rejected their whole lives, but still continued to do what they love, and when their turn comes, they shine bright. It's only about right time when the stars align. Syzygy! Just saying, Syzygy. Boom, you're noticed. So, yeah, like yes and no. Like obviously, you know, yeah, like he didn't have to be happy about it, but like, okay, he could see it as, all right, I'm still gonna contact them and be like, hey, you kind of you plagiarized the scene, like I need some recognition. But also it would push me, it would make me think like, okay, so they saw something good in my story, which means I can push forward, right? Like I can improve myself, but also file a claim, right? Just file a legal claim. Just contact the company, be like, hey, you stole my work, I need some credit. That's it. But stars align. Syzygy. So, I mean, that's about it. That's about this case. That's everything that I have on this case. And this was a very sad and terrible case. Terrible, terrible story. Terrible, terrible incident. And if there's any conclusion I can make, I have to say that there really is a serious epidemic of unemployed, frustrated, and isolated people especially like isolated men in Japan. And I think many of the notable violent crimes in Japan, recently at least, all have the same characteristics, like very similar circumstances, you know, someone who is frustrated, isolated, like kind of hikikomori, and then, you know, the life isn't going well, like some problems with employment, and they just snap at one point. So, for example, the man who assassinated former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, like this was very recent, right? He was also similar to Shinji Aoba. He was unemployed, he was living alone, he had some mental health problems, mental illness. And then there was the perpetrator of the 2008 Akihabara massacre. So that was the one that I was talking about like a while ago. So he was also lonely, he was struggling financially, and though he was fired from, and I think, he was fired from his job, I think. Oh no, wait, you know what the crazy part is? I think he thought that he was fired from his job. So he wasn't actually fired from, I think there was like, I would have to go into this incident deeper, like research more, but there was this part where he actually just thought that he was fired. He wasn't actually fired. I think there was like some disciplinary action, but he wasn't actually fired, but he thought he was, and he snapped. It was just this bad, terrible syzygy that just on that day happened, and the worst of luck happened, and yeah, and he snapped. Okay, so there is a pattern. I mean, I see a pattern here, and there has to be more than can be done, and to make, you know, like to make sure that people who face this, like these difficulties, can get the financial, social, and mental health support that they need, because they need it before something like this happens. Also connected with this, I think, you know, is a pattern of abuse by parents. Remember when I was talking about Shinji Aoba's past, like I mentioned that as a kid, like he was forced by his father to stand outside in cold without clothes. Well, I mean, in a freak coincidence, Tomohiro Kato, the man who committed this guy, right? Like this guy, that's Tomohiro Kato. So he was also punished by his parents when he was young by standing outside in the cold during winter. I don't know what it is. What is it with this like harsh, super harsh punishment? What the fuck? But it was a very similar, it was the same punishment. And if you recall from the case, Shinji Aoba mentioned that Tomohiro Kato inspired him to commit mass murder. I mean, well, I don't really know what the solution to this is. Clearly, more has to be done to give mental health support to people who have gone through abuse or traumatic experiences like that in childhood. Otherwise, some people likely, you know, like Shinji Aoba, will likely turn to violence and, you know, as the way to express their frustration, and obviously a tragedy will follow. So that is it. That is the whole case. I'm currently watching... What? Why are you watching Hollow Live and not me? Why? That's rude. Also, Demon Slayer, Sakamoto Days, Kazu, 8, Promised Neverland. Oh, was that from KyoAni? Yeah, well, we blaming media again. Well, not like... I'm not blaming media. I think like I'm just saying like, oh, there would be... You know, this needs to be looked into. Those, because the cases, at least in Japan, like those cases are very similar. Like there's the circumstances, the background, the you know, the aftermath. Like it's just so. Look, I mean, sorry, the not aftermath. Yeah, like the circumstances before the incident is just like so similar. Like I think something needs to be done. Someone needs to look into this and make some solutions. May the souls rest in peace. Yes, may their souls rest in peace. There were so many creators lost in that fire, and a lot of them probably like at least worked in one of the projects that we love. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna move to a brighter setting, and we can talk about something else. We can talk about more stuff. Wait, let me just I can turn on avatars. Where's my... I really need to fix the chat box. Oh, right. Fun facts time. Do I have any fun facts this time? Okay. Do I have something? Okay. Cactus Dome. Do you guys know what Cactus Dome is? Apparently US Army engineers built an enormous concrete structure called Cactus Dome over a nuclear crater. Interesting. But yeah. Cow story again. The Polish cow that you know, persevered. It refused to be transported, to be taken to a slaughterhouse. The cow was you know, it was relentless in her strife for life. So yeah, the cow survived. The cow lives on an island and refuses to you know, to give up. To surrender. It refuses to surrender. Oh, also, did you guys know that the word astronaut, the name astronaut, it comes from Greek words that mean star and sailor, so it's a star sailor. Interesting. Just saying. God, I wish I was that cow. Wait. Yeah, the cow just absolutely refuses to be taken back to like the mainland. It just like it lives on an island on a lake, and because it dived underwater and just like swam to the island, she was just like, nope. Question here. Could we watch this small scene from Dragon Maid? Probably not. I shouldn't probably I can only show screenshots from animes because the stream might be stricken down and demonetized, so I can't. Sorry. It shows how amazing the studio was. You won't get struck down or anything. Will I not? I think I might. I actually might. Invo, thank you so much. Incredibly good job at covering this case. Son. Wow. My new nickname. Definitely one of the most horrific and distressing case that you have covered. Yes. Well, the link is there. So Kronos posted a link. You guys can watch the scene. I'd rather not risk it. I have a feeling that it could be stricken down or the video is gonna be demonetized later. So yeah, rather not. Yeah, better not risk it. Just saying. Wee! Just throwing people. Wee! Wee! Bye. Oh no! Let's talk about shaving now. Why? No! Wait, okay, another fun fact. Oh, McFlurry cups. Did you guys know that the reason why McFlurry, like from McDonald's, McFlurry cups were changed? It was actually because of hedgehogs. Hedgehog suicides. So, British Hedgehog Preservation Society won a campaign in 2006 against McDonald's to basically force them to redesign their McFlurry cups because hedgehogs were reportedly like getting stuck and dying. So, if you ever wonder why the McFlurry cup looks different now, that's why, because hedgehogs were dying. No, I died. Excuse me? Yeah, hedgehogs were dying. That's it. Also, did you guys know that FedEx was at one point it was like on the basically like going to go bankrupt, but the owner of FedEx, Fred Smith, he actually rescued the company by gambling, by playing blackjack in Las Vegas. Just saying. Like it was which year was it? Was it in the 70s? Yeah, but he rescued the company, saved the company by gambling. Just saying. Wait, what? Yeah. Look it up. Also, the Twitter bird. The Twitter bird. If you know, if you don't know, the Twitter bird has an actual name, and the name of the Twitter bird is Larry. 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 That's the name of the bird. Why is it the name of the bird? Let me actually check because I forgot. I actually forgot why the name. Okay, Twitter's platform API product manager Ryan Sarver told that the world famous bluebird was called Larry. He posted a picture from a Twitter meeting he'd been to in which creative director Douglas Bowman was analyzing the logo's evolution and wrote, going over design at Twitter, the evolution of the Larry the Bird logo. So yeah, the fact, that's the fun fact. The blue Twitter logo is, well, I mean, RIP now, I guess, but it was called Larry. When did I get more gold? Well, I mean, I guess you guys have oh, there is also, okay, if you didn't know, there's also this, that's a random fact, but that I found out recently, but there's something called Tinku Festival in Bolivia. That's Tinku, Tinku Festival, where people beat each other, beat the shit out of each other for like 2 or 3 days straight. That's another fun fact. Yay! Oh, and owls have long legs. Did you guys know? Like if you like grab them and like lift their feathers, their legs are fucking long. It's crazy. I didn't know. The owl, they look weird. The owls look weird. Bolivia, you say? Bring your enemies to Bolivia during the Tinku Festival. If you have a nemesis, just, you know, sponsor a trip to Bolivia for your nemesis together, and then you can beat the shit out of him. Okay, violence is not an answer. That's bad of me to kind of like give you guys that idea when we just talked about like how violence is not the answer to your frustrations. But you know, you don't have to be, okay, you don't have to go with them. You can just send them on a trip to Bolivia. during the Tinku festival and let life take its course. Just saying. I'm broke. It is the question and the answer is yes. My parents are from Bolivia. I'll have to ask them about this. Yeah, like there's... Yeah, like literally... Wait, let me just look it up because I'm pretty sure I... Okay, Tinku. Tinku. A Bolivian Aymara tradition began as a form of ritualistic combat. In the Quechua, I guess, language, I'm sorry, I apologize if I mispronounced it. It means meeting encounter. During this ritual, men and women from different communities will meet and begin the festivities by dancing. So it starts all like good and dandy, you know? It starts friendly and dandy and everything, everyone is friends. And then it spirals out of control. So they start dancing. The women will then form circles and begin chanting while the men proceed to fight each other. Rarely the women will join in the fighting as well. What? Equality. Large tinkus are held in Potosi during the first few weeks of May. Just remember, May, Bolivia, Tinku Festival. The story behind this cultural dance is that long ago, the Spanish conquistadors, I don't know how to read it, but the Spanish conquistadors made the indigenous people their slaves, and set fights between men and the, for their amusement, basically. Not the greatest story, but, you know, that's a thing. That's a thing. What else? What else? Oh! London was actually not originally called London. It was actually named by the Romans, and London's original name was Londinium. 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 Look at me doing a spelling bee. Look at me winning a spelling bee. Coming soon. Sona spelling bee champion. The spelling bee champion. Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks. Yeah. Conquistadors. Okay, conquistadors. Conquistadors. That's close enough. That's close enough. Okay. Whatever. Named after an element. Radioactive. 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 Oh, that's a fun stream. FEARSONA spelling bee stream. Yeah. Oh, also, another fun fact. There was do you guys know about the first, pretty much like self-surgery? So the first self-surgery was actually in Antarctica. And it was Leonid Rogozov. He was a doctor who was the only medical staffer on a Soviet Antarctic expedition. And while he was there, he felt like he went down with basically a very like violent case of appendicitis, and he had to perform an appendectomy on himself, so cutting out the appendix by himself. And he only had a mechanic and a meteorologist as his surgery assistants. So he was kind of like propped up on the bed, like half sitting, half lying down, half sitting position. And he couldn't obviously put himself under, so he had to use local anesthesia. He actually like ruptured something else, like while he was trying to cut out his own appendix, like he ruptured like another part and he had to stitch it also. Sona entered her triple S idol singing voice for a second there. It caught me off guard. What? No! I wasn't even trying. I've seen that image. It's so hardcore. Yep. But yeah, the Fabian Y. Parallel. Also, another fun fact. Just, you know, if you have some cosmetic products that are made in China and they were made in 2005, or skincare makeup products, I would probably advise you to throw them, because actually in 2005 a Chinese company actually used skin harvested from the corpses of executed convicts to develop beauty products for sale in Europe. So if you live in Europe and if you have skincare products from 2005 made in China, I would probably throw them out. Bruh, what? Yep. Happened. Actually happened. That's another thing. Oh, one more thing. Like I wanted to share this because it's like super interesting. There is a video game called Perception, and this is a video game where the main character is blind. So basically, you can play as this character, this main character whose name is Cassie, and she is a sightless woman who navigates through the haunted estate using echolocation. I should play this game. I want to play this game. It's so like it's interesting. Like when I found out about this fact, like it's pretty interesting. So, yeah, I might play this. Very interesting concept. I heard of that game. Oh, I heard of that. Oh, okay. I really have to like look into this because I'm intrigued. Like I found out about this game like recently, and I wanted to try it out. Oh shit, that's interesting. That is an interesting concept. Yeah, new VR game. What game? Play as a blind woman. Well, I mean, it's just like, oh, you probably see like the game kind of reveals it in a way that's like, I don't know. Oh, to kind of imagine echolocation. So it's just kind of like imaginary image of echolocation. Yeah, but yeah, she's a bat. Fear, I expect a FNAF lore or analog horror stream next year. I will gladly pay. I will gladly pay. Maybe FNAF. Maybe something, yeah. I'm not like huge fan of FNAF. Like it's just not, I don't know, like I don't enjoy the game as much. Like it's a good game, you know, world acclaimed, but critically acclaimed, but yeah, I don't know, like I never like think it's like super interesting. Oh dear queen, what? Random fun fact. The language Nahuatl? I don't know how to read it, sorry. Is a language once spoken by the Aztecs. About 1.4 to 1.6 million people still speak the language, but it's a difficult language. More difficult than Polish? That sounds like I'm summoning Satan. I mean, yeah, there's so many like very difficult languages around there. Like mad respect to anyone who speaks like one of the most like difficult languages, or very like not obscure, but like lesser known language. Yeah, respect. Okay, full Polish only stream when? Yeah, I want to do this. I want to do it. Listen, I wanna honor my Polish fans because one of us. I'm one of you guys. So I do wanna have like a Polish stream for my Polish fans sometime next year. Probably like I wanna organize something fun for my Polish subscribers. So I'm gonna think about it and plan for it for next year. I'm still waiting for it. I'm sorry, Katsuya. Muszę się... Zabiorę się do tego kiedyś. Okay. Do it and we try to decipher everything. Sure. I'm gonna do a Polish stream and everyone's gonna be like, what is she saying? Are we expecting Beelzebub any minute now? Okay, stream on dolphin crimes, and I mean crimes committed by dolphin. What the heck? Is that a thing? What? I knew the dolphins that were you know, drugged with LCD. Not LCD. LCD? No, wait. LSD, LCD. Oh my god, I am great. I am truly great. I remember everything. I have great memory. Listen. Why the LCD? Hey, LCD can be addictive too. There is no study on the you know, the effects of LCD. Okay. I'm sure there is some study out there, like obscure study that actually explored the dangers of LCD. I mean, there's a dolphin that tried to... Oh yeah, I talked about this actually. I had a stream about this, I think a while ago, maybe last year. I actually had a stream about this. This was a NASA project. Fun fact. Fun times. Sona's getting durian for Christmas confirmed. No, I'm not getting durian. Never, never. Never ever. Does Sona like LCD sound system? Oh no! Sona's going to get a durian. No, I'm not getting a durian. You may rely on it. What the heck? Once my forensic teacher was investigating a crime of buggery, and so he was swabbing a bunch of suspicious ducks in a public pond, and there was a lot of what? A lot of ducks that were oh god. Oh no! Why? Is this I mean, some animals, honestly, some animals are just animals. Some animal, like there are several animals that actually use violence to reproduce, and that's not fun. I think one of them is the Tasmanian devil. I'm pretty sure like the Tasmanian devils use actually violence. Like the males like use violence on females to like drag them and like reproduce. So and they keep beating them, by the way. They like drag them into their den, and they keep beating them to a pulp so that the female can't move and can't like escape. And yeah, the coitus. And yeah, it's, me who loves dogs. They what now? Yeah, I'm disturbed now. I know, you guys. I'm sorry. This is what you sign up for when you come to my streams. To leave, you know, you sign up to listen to the case or to listen to the stream and then leave the stream. Come to the stream happy, leave the stream disturbed and concerned about the world and everything around you. Okay, so Taz from Looney Tunes is an abusive husband. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, technically, according to science and nature, yeah, pretty much. Bruh. You what? Jose, you what? What? I've seen the duck. What? You what? You what? Oh my god. Betrayal, Sona. Betrayal. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. Sona, some animals are just abusive. Some animals are just terrible. Like I mean, you know, to be fair, like some animals, let's say, I don't know, wasn't it like praying mantis or like spiders or some female animals, like actually after the coitus, they actually kill the male because they don't need him anymore, and they actually lay eggs inside the male. That is gruesome. Like, yeah. They eat the male. Yeah, so that happens in nature. Nature is an asshole, okay? Nature is such an asshole. Like, it's not made for the faint-hearted, you know? If you look into nature documentaries, boy, do you find like a lot of disturbing facts. I heard about that, yep. Mates, yeah. Coitus. That's most female spiders. Yeah, this is so terrible. Animals are crazy. And then we have sea otters holding hands when they sleep to not drift apart. Such angels. Yeah, they also have a favorite rock. Otters have, like each otter, usually like throughout their lifetime, they have a favorite pebble or rock, and they just hold it and they keep it safe. It's great. Some of them are so cute, man. And then nature just comes around with a slap and slaps you in the face with those other animals. Like the nature, you know, nature documentaries starting with a cute scene of like, oh, lion cubs or some other very cute scene, and then it just like turns around. Mother Nature turns around, it just like slaps you, smacks you across the face. Damn. I think there's actually a strand of male spiders that have begun getting the female spiders drunk, so they will be able to they'll be too tipsy to kill them. Oh no! Oh wow! Oh, elephants can get drunk. Elephants actually intentionally get drunk. So what they do is they eat, like they gather fruits in their mouth. They keep it there, like they actually swallow it and they let it ferment inside. That's why. Have you ever wondered why there's this like cosmetic brand called Drunk Elephant? Yeah, because it's a fact. Elephants get drunk. They actually produce alcohol. And they get drunk, so yeah. They get it, they get lit, that's awesome, yeah. Yeah, there's this cosmetic brand called the Drunk Elephant, and I always wondered, like, why is it called Drunk Elephant? This is so random. It's not random, this is what elephants do. They just get shit-faced. Okay, you guys, I think that's it. I think we've come to an end of this stream. This has been a wild 2 hours, and my throat is done. My throat is just, oh my god. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, even though the story was pretty gruesome and pretty sad. I apologize for sharing a very sad case with you. Wait, can we beat that boss? Okay, you can beat the boss at least. Okay, you can beat the boss. You can beat the boss. What else? What else do we have? What else do we have? Like, what else? What other interesting facts? Let me look up some interesting facts. Oh shit! The offending. This is another fact. The offending tower, a skyscraper in London, Londinium. A skyscraper in London was melting cars and setting buildings on fire because of its concave shape. Oh, before permanently had a sunshade. Oh, also it was reflecting sunlight in such a violent way that it was like melting cars and setting them on fire. Oh my god, okay, that's okay. Wow. Okay, interesting. Discovery of coffee. According to popular legend, Khalid was a legendary Ethiopian goatherd who discovered the coffee plant around 850 AD. It entered the Islamic world more than the rest of the world. Interesting. I didn't know about this. Nice. Nintendo was founded in 1889. Before it sold video games, the Japanese company specialized in playing cards. I think a lot of people know this. I knew it. I knew this before. Interesting. Oh yeah, I remember that it became a classic magnifying glass effect, which melted the road. Oh yeah, the building? Holy hell. Damn. Okay. Let me see. Oh, okay. I didn't know this. Okay, question. Is any of you guys born, was any of you guys born on leap day? Can you let me know? Was any of you guys born on a leap day? On leap day. So I guess February 29th. Is anyone's birthday February 29th? Because that's wild. Me, okay, great. So officially, you are referred to as a leapling. So your official name is a leapling. Leaplings. That's kind of cute. So people born on a leap day are called leaplings. Yeah. But I know someone, so you can tell them, hey, sup leapling? And they'll be like, what did you just call me? Am I supposed to be offended? No, it's a formal name, leapling. That's cute. So cute. Leapling sounds like an alien, kind of. Because you were born on a day that sometimes doesn't exist. Sometimes comes, sometimes doesn't. Wow. They leap. The Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle isn't more likely to cause a mysterious disappearance than anywhere else. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there were more disappearances somewhere else too. Okay. What else? What else do we have? What else do we have? Okay. Matahari, if you've heard this name, this was actually a Dutch exotic dancer. And she was also a courtesan. So Matahari was convicted. She was convicted of being a spy for Germany during World War I, and a firing squad executed her. According to an eyewitness, she blew a kiss to the firing squad. If you're gonna go out, if you're gonna, like, you know, end your time on this earth, you might as well go out with a class and with pizzazz. Matahari. Interesting. Wait, I just kind of like, my microphone was so loud. She kissed them goodbye. It's like, farewell. Okay, what else? Are you guys done with the boss fight? Not yet? Oh, Walter Summerford. A British officer, Walter Summerford, was struck by lightning 4 separate times. Interesting. I want to find out what's going on. She learned the name Matahari from an Indonesian Or was it that she visited Indonesia at one point in her life? Oh yeah, I guess like there's that also. Yeah, like her real name was something else. Wait, let me look it up. Let me look it up. What was her real name? Margaretha MacLeod, I guess. I'm sorry. But Margaretha MacLeod. But she was known as Matahari. Interesting. I was one turn. I remember that. Lucky guy. Or he has the lightning. Yes. Yeah, pretty lucky guy. Let's see. Let me see, what else do we have? Oh, alien insurance. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently thousands of people pay for alien abduction insurance policies that offer millions of dollars payout. I'm sorry, how do you claim it? I mean, unless you are returned, providing that you are returned to Earth. But apparently that's a thing. General Butterscotch, thank you so much. Before we go, I would like to recommend a very infamous unsolved case from my local area, an Australian serial killer called Mr. Cruel. Okay, wait, let me like write it down because I have this. I have to add it. Oh yeah, like yesterday I was talking about. We talked about like on Patreon. We were actually discussing some of the cases that you guys were suggesting. General Butterscotch. Suggestions. Mr. Cruel. Written down. Wait. Hi, got it. Guys, is this? Oh yeah. Okay, you guys defeated the boss. Hey, congratulations. Mr. Cruel. It's interesting. I'm gonna look into it. But yeah, if you were there for yesterday's stream, Patreon stream, thank you so much for tuning in. It was fun. We talked about some crazy cases, like the man from a country that doesn't exist, the Tourette man. We talked about some missing persons, like disappearances, like Lars Metang. That was a guy from Germany who disappeared from, like, ran out of the airport. It was pretty crazy. We talked about oh yeah, the Uruguayan airline flight. Damn, I think I'm gonna cover that because it's pretty interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in yesterday. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I will see you guys. I'm gonna probably like stream on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see. But there's gonna be, I have to take a day or two off, and then I'm gonna, like stream some more. But thank you so much. Stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your haxes. Until the next time. Bye. I choked on my matcha latte, I'm sorry. Thank you. Also, Alberto, hostage time. Thank you, Alberto, for being a member for 4 months. Ah! Just low-key, you guys almost got me, like, unalived me. Okay, guys, I'll see you guys next. Ow. Okay, you guys, I'll see you guys so many times. Like, how many times can I say guys? But okay, see you all next time. Bye-bye.